This looks like an Escher.
Yeah, that's tiling by M.C. Escher. It's called Horseman. And
It looks like it has some symmetries.
yes, actually, it does exhibit a certain type of planar symmetry, and maybe we could figure out what kind of symmetry it has. We're going to use this wallpaper pattern flowchart to do that. And as you can see, the first question on the one on the left is, what is the smallest rotation?
Do they all have rotations?
It's a good question. In fact, if you look at this pattern, do we have any rotations? Are there any rotation centers on this pattern?
I don't see one.
No. So I guess you just answered your own
I
question.
guess I did.
What is the smallest rotation? None.
Ah, okay.
All right. The next question, is there a reflection?
Is there a
Do you see a reflection line anywhere in this pattern?
like a mirror symmetry, you mean?
Right.
No, I don't see that either.
Nope. Okay, moving on.
Is there a reflection? No. Is there a glide
Is there a glide reflection?
No.
You think no? I think yes. See, look at this. If I draw a line through here, if you look at this dark horseman over here, and imagine it being reflected to the other side and then translated down, it would fall right on top of that.
You know, I wasn't even seeing
The
that
light
negative space as a
Right.
horseman, but now I see it. I was only reading the
darkness.
yeah.
Okay, so there's actually a glide, a vertical glide down this line.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
So this pattern is actually a PG pattern. Let's try another one. This is actually a photograph I took in this restaurant called La Souque on Avenue B. They have fantastic tilings over there, and I saw this one and couldn't help but bring it to your attention.
Yeah, it's cool.
So I wonder if we could figure out the symmetry pattern of this tiling. Let's answer the first question. What is the smallest rotation?
Is it?
Let's see. It looks like that would be a rotation center. It's always a good idea to mark them.
Okay.
You know, if you find a rotation center, mark it. Now, what fold rotation is this?
I see 3.
Right. It's like a center of a triangular tile, right? So that would be a 3-fold rotation center.
Okay.
What about this one? This one right here.
6.
Right. Yeah. If we ignore color, these tiles will realign themselves 6 times as you go around this dot.
Right.
So
Green,
this,
white,
in
green, white,
fact,
green, white.
has a 6-fold symmetry. In other words, the angle of rotation is 60. It's 360 divided by the type of rotational symmetry, 6-fold, so 360 by 6 is 60. So we have 60-degree rotation. Now, next
Wait,
question.
what was the first question?
Oh, just...
What is the smallest rotation? Wasn't the 3 our smallest rotation?
Well, the 3-fold would be 120 degree.
Oh, because we're dividing it by...
360 by 3
Right,
is
okay.
120. 360 by 60, I'm sorry, 360 by 6 is
60 degrees. Got it.
Smallest rotation is 60. Is there a reflection? Do you see any reflection lines here? Are there any lines that would act as mirror lines?
I don't think so.
You're right. There are none. So this pattern is a P6.
Show me where that is.
This,
P6. Okay.
This pattern is actually also from La Souque. And let's see if we can't figure out the type of pattern that it is. There's a total of 17 patterns, and this is the third one that we're looking at.
Total of 17 symmetries
Mhm.
in this group?
Yeah, 17 different types of wallpaper patterns.
Okay, so we're looking for the smallest rotation. 4?
Right. In fact, in the center of that thing.
Mm-hmm. And also in there is also
Right,
4.
yes. Notice that, like, this one would actually be a twofold rotation center.
Really?
Yes, you see that? How if you rotate 180 degrees, this cross would go over here, and vice versa.
Ah.
So that's a twofold rotation
I
center.
see.
It's a fourfold. It's a fourfold. Now, so the fourfold will give you the smallest rotation because that gives 90 degrees. Okay? So
Okay.
we're going down to this part of the flowchart. Is there a reflection? Do you see any reflection, potential reflection lines in?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Through those crosses you could do one.
Let's put one in here. Like so.
Right.
It's always a good idea to not only mark down the rotation centers, but to also mark some of these reflection lines. In fact, isn't that a reflection line as well?
Yeah.
So, is there reflection? Yes. Are there reflections in lines which intersect at 45 degrees?
Well, they're intersecting here at 90 degrees.
This would be 90, but look at this. Isn't this also a reflection line?
Yep.
Yes. And if we take the other diagonal as well,
Mm-hmm.
that's also a reflection line. So these are actually 45 degrees. Another way to state this question would be to say, are there reflection lines in 4 directions? And if you have these vertical, horizontal, and both diagonals, then you'd have to answer yes to this question. So this is a P4M pattern.
Okay.
P4M.
Got it.
We have one more. This is some textile design.
I like the color.
Yes, looks sort of retro. Somebody wore this in the 60s, I'm sure.
On a mini skirt.
Yes, but they probably don't remember. So let's see. Smallest rotations, or any rotations for that matter. Are there any?
Isn't there one in the center of those Y's? There? Isn't that a rotation
Right
point?
here? Yeah. It looks like a threefold
right.
center. Any others? So let me mark down a few of these here.
Any others? I don't see any others.
Well,
Am I missing
you have to sort
one?
of train your eye to look for these rotation centers, and that's maybe the hardest part of this whole process. But do you see that here is another threefold rotation center? If you rotate this pattern around this dot, you'll have this going over that, this going over to that, and so on.
Got it.
You could think of this as sort of like pinning down the pattern right here
And then
with a needle or a pen or something, and spinning the whole plane about this point.
Okay.
So let's mark a few more of these types
Are
of
there
rotation
more
centers.
that I haven't
No.
seen? Okay, good.
Okay, so moving on. Smallest rotation, well, it was all threefold centers, so the
120.
smallest rotation is 120 degrees.
Is there reflection? Yes, definitely.
Yeah,
That's obvious.
Yeah, so let's draw some of these reflection lines. There would be one there, another vertical one here, and then you have these sort of diagonal
right.
ones.
I forgot to look for the diagonal.
It's
So
always
what's
a
our
good idea to
question?
draw a couple of each type of reflection line. Is there a reflection?
Yes.
Oh, here. Is there reflection? Yes. And then the last question, are all rotation centers on reflection axes? In other words, are all the dots that we drew on a line?
No.
Correct. So the answer to this question is no, and the categorization here is P31M.
Got it.